Leadership is one of those areas that is increasingly had attention in the domain of sport. See, different sports have different types of leaders. Lots of sports have on-pitch leaders, sometimes called captains formally. I know in American football there are different positions on the pitch that are seen as captains, such as the quarterback, for example. But a lot of it has been invested in developing these leaders, because what's happened in sport in the past is a lack of clarity about what's the job of the particular leaders, which then makes it really difficult to develop those leaders for the future, because if you haven't got an idea of what the job is that they're supposed to do. And I remember there's a great example of this when I worked with England cricket over 10 years ago now. For those of you who don't understand cricket, it's a little bit more a bit like baseball. Well, it involves bats and balls, but you know, that might be where the similarity ends. But with cricket, England decided, because there are different types of the game, you've got longer and shorter forms of the game. So at the longest, it can last up to 5 days, and at the shortest, it can last a few hours. I think it's about the only sport that does that. But the England national team decided, right, we want to have different captains for each of these different types of cricket. Recognising there are different challenges, so you know it makes sense to not have the same person. And what they decided was, right, what we'll do is we'll advertise it within our squad of England players, these are the best players in the country, and see who could be those captains. And what they found was no one had any leadership experience at all. Because of the development system that England had put in place, they were taking the most talented players out of their professional clubs to try and develop them as expert players separately. But by doing that, they lost all the opportunity to get leadership experience. So when they needed leaders, they didn't have the skills, the knowledge, the expertise. So what we had to do was put in place a leadership development program pretty quickly to upskill potential leaders of the future, and to really understand, you know, what being a leader in cricket looked like. So we brought in, you know, expert leaders from the past, people who had good reputations. We looked at leadership theory, looked at developing what they call man management skills, so understanding different types of people, so looking at personality, things like MBTI, Insights, Hogan, those kind of personality tools, to just try and give them tools to be able to work more effectively with people in terms of their leadership positions. So leadership has increasingly been recognised in recent years as being crucial in sport across a broad range of sports. There's also been a recognition in sport that if we're looking at leadership, you don't have to have one person providing all of the leadership needs for a particular team. So you don't need to have a captain who does all the leadership. And there's some great research that originated out in Belgium with Katrine Fransen and her research group over there that looked at the types of leadership that teams needed. And the things they came up with were task leadership, which you'd expect, the thing that you're doing, motivational leadership, social leadership, and external leadership, so representing the team outside of the team, so to the media, external organisations. And what they found is that in many cases, the formal leader, so the captain, wasn't providing a lot of that other leadership. And they don't need to. You just need to know what the leadership needs of a team are and have people who can provide that leadership. It doesn't necessarily need to be the same person. So we don't have to think of leadership from the perspective of needing a person to be a leader. We can think of the leadership needs of a team and ensure that those leadership needs are met, which might be by multiple people. And it can help the leadership needs of the team to be met more effectively. And it engages and empowers more members of that team, because more of them are contributing the things that they should be contributing. And actually, if you want to lean towards positive psychology on this and start looking at strengths, adopting a strengths-based focus, actually getting people to do the things that they're good at makes sense anyway, because we're better at the things we're better at. So if I'm really good at motivating people, great, have me occupying that position in a team. If I'm not a great decision maker, don't make me make decisions. Use someone else who can make those decisions. And it all probably seems reasonably straightforward, but teams don't do it. So being able to look at that and help teams to be more effective is obviously crucial to us being able to have teams which are effective.